All right, we are now recording, and I'm going to pull up first the syllabus. Okay, so what you see and what you hear is going to be recorded. It's being recorded, but it'll take a while before it's uploaded on Blackboard. On YouTube and then to Blackboard. So that, and number one, I don't have the Blackboard link set up yet. Hopefully, I'll get to do that. Probably not today, hopefully sometime tomorrow. But if you're familiar with YouTube, you might be able to find it. But let me explain a little bit about that. I taught this course every term for several terms. I don't usually teach it in the summer. So there's old files out there as well. I'll leave them out there until I teach that same material again and then delete the old one. So when you get to that playlist, is what they call it in YouTube, the things at the top are the old things. So you scroll down to the bottom until you get to the newest stuff. And there's nothing to indicate it's new except that it's on the bottom. So rather than mess with it, that's the best way to do it. All right, any questions before we get started? All right, this is Math 112. Now, they told us we needed to update the syllabi and say Alabama Community College System because that's what we're under now. We're no longer under the Department of Post-Secondary Education. And yet, the logo they had us load says both. So we are the Alabama Community College System, and I guess we're still sort of under Alabama Department of Post-Secondary Education. But that doesn't matter. But they said we were supposed to be updated, but this is all we got. This is free 2018. It says mini-term 1. The only thing that's going to change here are my office hours. When mini-term 2 starts, my office hours will change slightly. Okay. This is Math 112 Pre-Calculus Algebra. It's a 3 credit hour course. Okay. Of course, we meet for 2.5 hours a week rather than 3 because they give you 15 minutes each day to get between classes. Okay. Meeting times are Tuesday and Thursday, 8 to 9:15. Y'all are at the right place. That's my campus. This building A, room 255. Y'all are in the right place. And my name is Charles Fowler. Okay. So, my contact policy here, I'll scroll up a little bit. Okay, I better stop somewhere here. My email address is cfowler@lawsonstate.edu, and because I've been messing with registration last week and this week both, I have barely been able to get on Blackboard. On email. So hopefully before the term gets too far along, I'll get caught up. So if you've emailed me anytime and I haven't responded, that's why. I've had to be canceling classes like crazy, and then they mess up the schedule, and it's just been horrendous. Okay. But that's my email address. And by the way, for most of the employees of the college, it's first initial, last name @lawsonstate.edu. Now, not everybody. There's a few people with the same last name and first initial, so they have to then throw in a second initial or something like that. There are a few people who have purposely done. Mr. King, who teaches English and speech, he goes by Kelvin King rather than K. King. Okay? So a few people have, but not many. Most of us are first initial, last name. My office is A265. Now, let me show you sort of where that is on our little diagram over here. Some of you know this, but not all of you. Okay, here's where we are in this corner classroom right here. When you go out the door here, you take a left, and you go down the half flight of stairs there. That's that half flight of stairs. Toward the orientation room. You know, that's that room at the end. My office is right across from the orientation classroom, 256, and it's 265. The numbers in this building don't really match up too well, but there's my office right there, right next to the mechanical room, in between the mechanical room and the stairwell. That's my office. Go to the end of the hall before you hit the wall at the end, stop, come back one door, and that's it. Room 265. Okay. So not too far away, but I can't hear my phone. Good. Okay. My phone number on this campus is 929-3449. And let me tell you something about calling me, okay? I'm going in a minute give you my locator card. You're going to see my office hours real soon right there. Please, if you're going to call me, call during my office hours because if I'm not in the office, I'm not going to hear the phone ring, okay? So please call during office hours. If you call during office hours, you don't get me. Don't bother leaving a message right now, because right now, last time I heard, the phone system, my voicemail wasn't working right. So if you leave it, I may not ever hear it, okay? So just hang up and call again during office hours. If that doesn't work, try emailing. Again, I'm a little far behind the email, but I'll try to do it then. Now, this is Monday through Thursday. I'm in this office, Bethlehem campus, and that's my phone number, okay? Now, on Fridays, I'm on the Birmingham campus most Fridays, not every Friday, and my office there is in the suite B122. Are any of you familiar with the Birmingham campus? You know where Dr. Pruitt's office is. Most people know where Dr. Pruitt's office is, so if you're not familiar with it, ask anybody, where's Dr. Pruitt's office? They can tell you, most of them know. And I'm in the suite there. He has the big corner suite, and his office is the big corner office. His secretary sits in front. That's the first person you see coming in. Behind her desk is the copy room. It has a little round table, and that's where I am on Fridays, okay? My phone number there is not my number. It's 929-6409. That's the number for the grant coordinator, who's a part-time employee, and she only works Monday through Thursday. So I use that office on Friday. So don't leave me a message on that one, because it'll go to her voicemail, not mine. I'll never hear that one, guaranteed. So call only during office hours there. If you don't get me, hang up and try again. All right, now what are my office hours? Now these are subject to change, because they have monkeyed with the schedules like crazy, and I'll show you where those changes will occur if they really come to pass. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30, that's pretty much fixed. My 8 o'clock class was canceled. So 9:30 class, that's Calculus 1, it's 9:30 until 11:10. So I'm usually back in the office by 11:15. Now, they gave me a developmental math class, Math 098. I think it was 2 to 3:15. I think is the time they gave me. That's going to give me a double overload, which I'd just about rather not have. So, and other people are griping that they didn't get the schedule they wanted. So if I could smooth the waters over by giving somebody else that class, I'm going to try to do that. So that's why I didn't put it in here. But if I find out I'm going to wind up teaching that, then it'll be 11:15 till 2 and 3:15 to 5:15. So for right now, this is what I'm hoping it's going to be. I started making this up before I knew about the changes. I started making it over the weekend, and they changed everything yesterday. Tuesday, Thursday, today, okay, the days of our class, very few office hours. For the first mini-term, I have this class at 8 to 9:15, followed immediately by pre-calculus trig, 9:30 to 10:45. So at 10:45 until 12:30 are my office hours. And by the way, here, somewhere around 12, I'll probably eat lunch. And somewhere here around 11:30, I'll probably eat lunch. But I usually bring my lunch, and I eat in the office so you can still come by. So that's why I didn't separate it out. On my locator card, I indicated when it would be approximately. So that's all I got on Tuesday, Thursday, because at 12:30, I begin a first mini-term physical science class, okay? And it goes, Melvin will tell you, from 12:30 until 5. It's 12:30 to 3 is the class, and then 3 to 5 is allowed Tuesday and Thursday. Okay, long classes. And then I'll leave about 5:15. So I'm back in the office about sometime between 5 and 5:15. So if you can catch me there, fine. Okay, on Fridays, most of the time I'm on the Birmingham campus, and that's 7:45 to 11:45. Okay, and that's the number there, room and number. Course description. Pre-calculus is the name suggests, and by the way, I didn't write this. Okay, no one here at the college wrote it. This was something that was developed by a committee of 2-year college people and 4-year college people in the state of Alabama, and they agreed if we teach this, they give you credit for it. So, pre-calculus, as the name suggests, consists of topics from algebra, because it's pre-calculus algebra. Math 113 is pre-calculus trigonometry, so they put that in here, but that's not to do with this course, that form the foundation for calculus. That's why they call it pre-calculus. The course emphasizes, number one, the algebra of functions, including polynomial functions, rational functions, exponential functions, and logarithmic functions. I'm saying that especially because when you see what we're going to cover, you'll see these same topics come up. The course also covers systems of equations and inequalities and quadratic inequalities. Now, most of the time I teach the course, I haven't been able to get very far into that last part, okay? If we don't get there, I'm not going to sweat it too much because you have systems of equation in Math 098 if you took that, right? And you'll, Math 100 if you took that. And so it's not a big deal if we don't get to cover that. To me, the most important thing, the algebra of functions. And that's going to be the first chapter, and that's going to be what we focus on mainly, and then we'll apply that, okay? Prerequisites, Math 112, blah, blah, blah. Basically, if you scored for here, Math 112, fantastic. If you took Math 100, Intermediate College Algebra, and made a C or better, fantastic. You're in the right class, okay? Textbook, okay? Required text, pre-calculus, and it's the 10th edition. There it is, 10th edition. And the author is Ron Larson. It's a Brooks Cole Cengage book. Now, I do not like Brooks Cole Cengage learning, okay? I think they're overpriced, and I just don't really care for them. However, this is the best author I've seen of any pre-calculus text that I've seen, okay? He provides so much stuff that other texts do not provide, and I'll talk about that in a minute, okay? It's a 2018 text, even though we used it last year. They had a 2018 as copyright. If you have a calculator, you don't have to have a TI-83 or TI-83 plus or higher, but those are allowed. The reason I put that in the syllabus here is that if you want to get one in the bookstore off of Pell Grant, you should be able to get it, because I can say it's required for the course, and that allows you to use Pell money to get it. Okay? If you already got a calculator, you don't need a graphing calculator for this. So it's handy, it's nice to have, but a scientific calculator will do just about everything you need. We will be doing a lot of graphing, so if you have a graphing calculator, it makes your life a little easier, but it's not required. Okay? So, but if you want to get one and you have Pell Grant money for it, you can do so. Please bring paper, because we will do, today I'm going to be doing a lot of talking, but most days we're going to be doing math, okay, unfortunately. And if you got it, graph paper. If on quizzes and tests, I provide it if you need it, but if you have your own that you prefer, that's perfectly fine. But we will do, this text loves graphing, okay? And then the pencils, someone else wrote the syllabus, by the way. I don't care if you use ink, but I'll make a confession to you right now, okay? When I do math, and you'll see this soon enough, I tend to make errors, okay? So therefore, I like to do math in pencils, so I can erase my errors, and it's not quite so messy. If you prefer ink and you don't mind it, I don't mind it either. So whatever you need, doesn't have to be a pencil. Okay. Okay, I hope that was the bottom of the page, was it? Yeah, okay. All right, now this is a paragraph they put in the syllabus, and they tell us you cannot change this paragraph. This is one they developed, and you cannot change it. And it's fine. It's overall a fairly good paragraph, except some things I just don't like. All state community college students must be trained in Blackboard and use Blackboard daily to gain access to vital course information such as the syllabus. And you will be reading the syllabus every day, won't you? Saturdays and Sundays included, right? Yes. Okay, I knew you would be. I'm sorry, I'm making fun of it. Okay, sorry. I shouldn't do that. Okay, it will contain, in fact, on Blackboard right now, I have this syllabus out there. Now, I may have to change it if I have to change my office hours, and I'll do that. But right now, it's out there. It's the only class I've got it there because of all this mess they did yesterday. I didn't have a chance to do any more than this. In fact, I did this during commercials of whatever little game was on TV last night. You know, but anyway. All right. Now not just syllabus, handouts. Now, usually if I have a handout for you, I'm going to hand it out, okay? I don't usually put handouts on Blackboard, but other classes may, okay? PowerPoint shows. Okay, now it's not there yet. Don't look for them yet, but they will be there in two places. First, I'm going to take the PowerPoints I just loaded today, and I'm going to upload this to Blackboard under Content. By the way, that's where the syllabus is, under Content. Now, when you go to Blackboard, I don't see the student side, so I'm just guessing on this. But when you go to this class in Blackboard, you're going to have a series of tabs over here on the left, right? I think they're usually blue, but they could be other colors. Okay, usually the second or third one says Content. Click on that, and you'll see right now syllabus, research paper instructions, and locator card. That's all that's out there now. As soon as I have a chance, which will probably be tomorrow, maybe later, but I'm going to put your PowerPoints out there. Every section has its own PowerPoint, okay? I will put, in fact, I did put one other thing. I put a site that either I found or a student found and said they found it useful, a website. I think it's called Midnight Tutor or something like that. I'm going to put a few more of those there. Like I say, I ran out of commercials last night, or actually I went to bed, so I didn't have a chance to do them all. The computer was very, very slow last night too, so I couldn't get all of them done. But I'll put the PowerPoints out there, and I'll put websites that either I have found or students have told me they found useful. I don't know if I got Khan Academy there, but a lot of students love Khan Academy. Slater is one, Midnight Tutor. There's several, and any ones that I've been given, I'll put out there. Khan Academy, I don't think anyone's given to me. I just know I hear a lot of students talking about it. Okay? So that will be there. But PowerPoint will be there statically under Content. But not just that, I teach from PowerPoint. I write. This computer it's called a tablet. It has an ionizing pen. Have you ever signed out of Home Depot or something? You know how good those are? Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I'll be doing. I'll work every problem on the screen, and that will be recorded, okay? So those will be there. So the PowerPoint shows in YouTube, they'll be there, but they'll be dynamic. You'll hear me talking about them, and you'll see me writing, okay? So they'll be in two places, static, under Content, and then sort of dynamic, under Content, but under YouTube videos, okay? Activities. Now, sometimes the school puts activities on Blackboard, so check that periodically. Most of the time, I can't think of any activities I'll put out there. Assignments, I already have there your research paper assignment. Okay, I'm not going to type in your assignment every day, okay? But, guess what? I'm recording everything, and at the end of every section, there's a group of homework exercises. And I will tell you, here are the homework exercises that you can do to better your skills, okay? So listen for that. But also at the end of every class, even if we didn't come to the end of the section, I'll go to those and say, okay, now you can do 1 through 5, 7 through, whatever, okay? So they will be there, but they'll be there on your YouTube videos. You have to listen to YouTube to get those assignments. They will be there, but not typed in. Announcements. And again, sometimes the school does announcements. Most of the time, I don't have announcements, except I'll make an announcement right now, and you can hear it on YouTube video, okay? I'm going to get to this later, but I'll say it now before I forget about it. You might say, why do you bring this up? But it's explain something. I have a mild form of leukemia, okay? So I have to go in for treatments every 8 weeks, okay? I always schedule those for Friday so I don't mess up any classes. However, my hematologist only sees patients on, guess when? Tuesday mornings. Now, originally, he had scheduled my appointment for this morning, but fortunately, they changed it to next Tuesday. And I hate that. I wish it had been last Tuesday so I wouldn't have missed anything, but I couldn't control that. He wasn't taking appointments then. So, I'll have it this time. I may have one more before the end of the term. So I know next Tuesday we will not be meeting, okay? So I wanted to check with you and see when you'd like to make up that class, because I hate to miss a class. I hate it, okay? Now, When you see my office hours, we'll talk about that in just a little bit later. I mean, you've already seen them, but on the locator card, they're easy to visualize. So we'll talk about that. So that announcement, I'm making it now, so that announcement will be out there. Anything else that's coming up like that, listen to the YouTube video. Grades are on Blackboard, okay? Now, early in the term, typically I get things graded pretty quickly, knock on wood. Later on the term, especially when we start registering for summer and fall, the things slow down, because last time I checked, I had about 450 students that I was listed as their advisor, and I advise a lot of students who I'm not listed as an advisor, so I get sort of swamped then. But it's not as bad now as it used to be. Now more students are doing it online, so that eases it off some. But I will have some times when I'll usually not be able to get grading done until Friday when I'm on the Birmingham campus, or when I'm having an infusion of grades before the stuff knocks me out. Okay? Now, I do not like this next sentence. Failure to use Blackboard could severely damage your ability to pass the course. Now, maybe that's true in some courses. I don't think it's true here. If they allowed me to change this, I would say the proper use of Blackboard could greatly enhance your ability to do well in the course. It's a much more positive statement and much closer, I think, to reality. And then this one, I can't believe it. See the schedule book. We haven't had a schedule book in years, and yet they will not let us change this, and they haven't changed it. Inside cover of something that doesn't exist. If you need help with Blackboard, see me. I'm not the best person. I'll find someone who is. But if it's a simple question, I can probably answer it. Okay. Students should always, I don't like this sentence either, should always check Blackboard announcement page prior to coming to class. What does that sentence say to you? Or maybe not quite say, but implies, connotes. To me, maybe I'm just being sensitive about it. It's sort of saying, comma, in case the instructor has canceled class. That's the only reason I can think. Students should always check Blackboard announcement page prior to coming to class. And maybe that's true in most classes. But guess what, folks? I'm trying never to cancel a class. Okay? I've got an appointment next Tuesday. I can't help that. So I'm going to try to work that out with you ahead of time. Okay? Now, the only other reason I can think I would ever want to cancel a class, or not want to, but have to, is say I get stuck on the interstate. Last night driving home, I got within a mile or two of Malfunction Junction, and we slowed to single digits, and then we stopped. And then we sat there an inch forward and stopped. There was a major accident. 5 lanes were narrowed down to 1, and it was a long time getting home last night. Now, if something should happen like that coming in, if I remember to bring my cell phone, it's down in my office now, I don't bring it to class, but if I have it with me in the car, I'll then call and have Ms. Glass or somebody put on the board that, I'm in traffic and can't get here. Or if I get really sick or something like that in the morning, but if you've been in my class before, how many times do I cancel classes? Okay, so if I can help it, I'm not going to. But if I get deathly ill or traffic jam, I don't have time to put it in Blackboard. There's no access to put it in Blackboard, but I'll try to let you know. Okay, so I don't like this. Okay, student course learning outcomes. Students will identify, analyze, graph, transform, and combine functions and determine inverse functions if they exist. That's basically chapter 1. Students will divide and find zeros of polynomial functions and work with complex numbers. That's the first part of chapter 2. Now, we're not going to do that much with complex numbers in the course description. Nothing was mentioned about complex numbers. So we're just going to introduce you to them and get you familiar with them in case you ever need them in the future. Students will find, and that's, by the way, sections 2.1 through 2.5. Okay? Students will find domains and asymptotes of rational functions and analyze their graphs. That's 2.6, section 2.6. And by the way, if you think about this is the algebra of functions, remember in the course description. This is polynomial functions, remember in the course description. This is rational functions, remember in the course description. And analyze the graphs. If you haven't noticed it yet, graph. They love this. Okay, students will graph and use the graphs of exponential and logarithmic functions, the other two that they mentioned, to use the properties of logarithms and solve exponential logarithmic equations. That's chapter 3. Okay, now, most of the time when I've taught this class, sometimes we don't quite get very far in there, so we may not do all that, but you'll do a little bit of that. Students will solve systems of equations and inequalities. If we get there, we'll feel real good, because this seems to be a really bright class. Hopefully we will get there. If not, I think you can live without it. Okay. 6, students will write a library internet-based research or application paper on some topic of your choice in pre-calculus. Okay. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Okay, let's first look at the what they call the competencies, the core competencies for the class. Okay, I'm doing this slowly, so I'm going to try to keep the student learning outcomes on the slide. Probably going to lose the title. And may lose the first one. Well, let's go over there. We'll do chapter 1. Identify, analyze, graph, transform, combine functions, and do inverse functions. That's chapter 1. Okay, that starts at 1.4. Let me go on and say this now. 1.1 through 1.3 is a great review of intermediate college algebra. 3 sections there, several chapters, great review. If you're a little fuzzy, it's been a while, or you're not sure you remember everything, that's a good thing to look at between now and Thursday, okay? Sections 1.1 to 1.3. If you find anything in there, goodness gracious, I don't even remember doing this, or, yeah, I remember doing it, but I don't remember how, then, except you were in my one. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. If you do have questions, bring those to class on Thursday. Or anytime. Come see me in my office anytime. Now, so we're going to start at 1.4. We'll do 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6. At that point, I will give you a take-home quiz. Okay? Take it home, you do it, and before that, you're doing homework every night, aren't you? Yes. Okay, that's for your benefit. Okay? And then we'll do 1.5, 1.7, 1.8, and 1.9. After 1.9, we'll have a test. In class, closed book. Remember, your quiz is at home. You can have every resource you could possibly want. YouTube, other sources. You can use anything you want to on the quiz. The test, however, is in class. Okay? Now, closed book, and in a sense, closed notes, except for this. Now, get this, folks. For every test in this class, that's chapter test, final exam, you can have a formula and equation sheet. Anything you want to write on a piece of paper, front and back, however small, tiny you want to do it, bring a magnifying glass, I don't care. Anything you want to bring on a piece of paper, you can bring for every test, and including the final. Okay? This is not a memorization course. Okay? I've worked in Southern Research Institute in Birmingham. I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. And I had to recall stuff that I'd learned in math, when I was doing that, working there. Well, guess what? I didn't want to do this, and I'm sure my boss didn't want to do this. Depend on my memory to make sure I got everything right in that formula. No, I looked it up. And in real life, if you're needing to use something, look it up and make sure, and that's not a plus sign but a minus sign, make sure you've got it right. And that's why I say, bring a formula and equation sheet so you can write down anything. What I'm interested in is how you use information, not how you get information. Easy to get information. That's what I'm testing you on how to use it. So bring your formula and equation sheet. Okay? So that will be every test. Chapter 2, this is this one. Quadratic and polynomial functions. That all falls under polynomial functions. Synthetic division. Complex numbers. We'll just do a little bit of that. Zeros are polynomial functions. And then this one is rational functions. And again, we'll have 2.1, 2.3, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3 quiz, take-home quiz, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6 test. Okay? Same thing as before. Chapter 3. Hopefully we'll get there and get far enough in it. I can't remember how many sections are there. Halfway through it, quiz, if we have time. Now, if we run out of term before we run out of chapter 3, you may only have a test in that. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and then chapter 7. Whoa, what happened to 4, 5, and 6? That's pre-calculus trig. This same book, if any of you are taking trig, and I hope most of you do, you'll use this for trig too. So don't sell your book. You're going to have to buy it back if you're going to take a trig class. But that's why we skip 4, 5, and 6. Those are the trigonometry chapters. But then chapter 7 is linear and nonlinear systems of equations. And again, I doubt if we'll have time for a quiz. If we get anything, it will either be part of the last test or whatever. Okay. Research and writing assessment. That's this one right up here. I'll talk about that in the next file that I'll bring up. Overall student learning outcomes. That's your comprehensive final exam. Okay, comprehensive meaning it's going to cover everything. But don't think that means it's going to be harder. Generally, by that point, everything is making more sense then. You'll probably find that's one of the easier tests that we do. Okay? Because it's stuff you've already done and probably been tested over too. All right, now, all right. Okay. How am I going to evaluate you with this is the stuff that we've done? And again, I didn't write this. I would have left off this first thing that I just got into. Following is a list of breakdown of how each student will be evaluated final grade diploma. A paper is required and not optional. Required for the course. Okay? Required. Okay. It will count as a quiz grade. Just like your quiz, your paper is going to be something you're going to do at home, using all the resources you have and stuff like this. So I count it as a quiz score. Okay? The paper score cannot be dropped. The take-home quiz will be given about midway through each of the chapters. And for that one, those quizzes, I will drop your lowest one if it helps your average. Now, let's say you don't do a paper. Guess what? That's a big zero. You're going to need every quiz you can get to bring up that zero to a decent score. And you're still not going to get there, okay? Or if you do really lousy on the paper, which you shouldn't, then, or if you do really great on all the quizzes and just a little bit lower, then, you know, anything that's going to help you. I'll use all your quizzes if that brings you the quiz average higher, or I'll drop your lowest quiz if that helps you. So whatever helps you the most, I won't drop the paper, but I will drop the lowest quiz if it improves your score. The remaining quiz scores and the paper score are averaged together, and that gives you a quiz average, cleverly named. Okay? That quiz average may replace your lowest test score, the chapter test that you do. And there's no reason it shouldn't, unless, of course, you didn't turn in a paper, you did a really lousy job on it, have a really lousy score on that, then it may not help you. But if you do a decent job on the paper and do your quizzes and you use all your resources, you should have a pretty good score coming in. And that quiz average can replace your lowest chapter test score. Now again, if your test scores are high and your quiz average is low, I won't let it hurt you. I'll only allow it to help you. Okay. A test will be given at the end of each chapter covered. The lowest test grade may be dropped and replaced by the quiz average if that helps your overall average. The comprehensive final exam will be given at the end of the term and cannot be dropped. Comprehensive final exam is required. The research paper is required. So I don't hear it much because I focus on it at the beginning, but I can easily imagine, I have A's on all my tests, can I exempt the final? No. Okay? It's what we use to measure overall learning. Okay? And again, it's not that hard of a test. Most of the time, it actually is going to help you. Okay? So, comprehensive final will be given, cannot be dropped. It will count as either 1 or 2 test scores. Now, here's the scenario there. As I've already said, the odds are we're going to run out of term before we run out of material. So the odds are when we get to the end of the chapter, at the end of the term, we'll be probably working on chapter 3, maybe chapter 7, one of those that near the end. There's not going to be a time for a chapter test. So what we do for the final, I'll give it in 2 parts. First part will be the last chapter test. Second part, the comprehensive final. That way, the final only counts as 1 test score because it's just an hour. You see, you have an hour and 50 minutes for the final. You only have just a little over an hour for the regular chapter test. So if we had tests on everything and the final was a comprehensive 2-hour test, then I would count it either as 1 or 2 test scores, whatever helps you grade best. But if we're having a chapter test and a comprehensive, then they're each going to be counted as 1 test score. Okay. The average of the quiz average, remaining hourly test, and the comprehensive final exam will determine your final grade for the course. And of course, the 90s are A's and 80s are B's and blah, blah, blah. You see. Don't go here if you can help it. Okay. These, by the way, strange the way we do things here at Lawson. They are passing grades, but they don't allow you to go to the next level. You don't get to transfer them. So therefore, you have to retake a D. It's not as bad as an F because it gives you 1 quality point. An F gives you 0 quality point, but you do have to retake a D, okay? As you would an F, as you would if you withdrew from a class. Now, some of you are on financial aid. Generally, financial aid will pay for a retake of a class once. So let's say this is your first time taking the course. What if you either withdraw or make a D or make an F, they'll pay for you to take it again. But if you withdraw, make a D or an F the second time, they will not repay. They will not pay for the third time. So if you've taken the course before, this is it, folks. This is the last time they'll pay for it. Okay, so that's the only thing. Please don't go there. There's plenty of opportunities for you to get decent scores. You know what? Most of the people who do go there are people who don't show up for class, who don't take their tests, who don't turn in quizzes, who don't turn in papers. They're the ones usually that get down here. So be here, aloha, do the work. I can't guarantee that for everybody, but that's the general rule I found over many, many years of teaching. Okay. Yeah. I just talked about attendance. If I can get this to come on the screen. There it is. Okay. Students are expected to attend all classes for which they're registered. If you're unable to attend regularly, regardless of the reason. I know students talk about excused absences and non-excused absences. Guess what? If you're not here, you're not getting the material. You're not getting a chance to ask questions. You're probably hurting your ability to do well in the class. Okay? Whether it's excused or unexcused, you're not here. Okay? So try to be here if you can. Like I said, most of the people who do poorly in the class are those who don't come to class. Okay? You should probably consider withdrawing because guess what? A D is 1 quality point. The odds are that's going to pull down your grade point average. An F is 0 quality point. For certain, that's going to pull down your grade point average. A W does not hurt you at all academically. And guess what? You got to retake a W, you got to retake a D, you got to retake an F. So why in the world? If financial services is not going to pay for you to take it the third time, whether it's a D, F, or withdrawal, they're not going to. So the W is a far better option than a D or an F in most cases. Okay. So withdrawal from class can affect your eligibility for financial aid, but the F or the D will do the same thing, and hurt your grade point average to boot. Now, if you got a C going in, C's not going to hurt you financially. It's not going to hurt you grade point too badly. You're going to pass the course. So I don't suggest that you withdraw just, I wanted a D in this course. That's up to you. But, a D or an F, definitely consider withdrawal. It can prohibit progressions in nursing or allied health, but guess what? A D or an F will too. So there's no disadvantage for the W unless you got A, B, or C. Okay. Thus, before withdrawing, see your advisor and financial services if it's applicable. Makeup work. Makeup tests, and I didn't write this. Makeup tests are generally not given, I put in this part, unless arrangements have been made with the instructor prior to the missed workday. Let's say that one of you is in National Guard or reserves or something like that, and you've got a training coming up, and it happens to be when we're going to have a test. Or you get the flu, and it happens to be when we're going to have a test. Or something else like that, a relative dies or something. You're going to miss. Let me know, and then we'll make up the test as soon as we can. But try to be here because they don't like us to do that many makeup tests. Okay? Generally, only 1 week will be allowed to turn in the work to complete the test, unless, if you've made such arrangement, unless for unusual circumstances, like it's a 2-week training that you had to go to. Well, then, yeah, I understand. When you get back, how to get it done within a week. Remember, you are allowed to drop 1 major hourly exam. But I still suggest take it, even though you know you're going to do poorly on it, because guess what? The tests are part of the learning experience as well. That lets you see, boy, I missed that, didn't I? So I need to go back and check it. Now, lateness. All classes, if the computer's working and everything, I'm going to try to be here promptly at 8. You know, I'm going to try to be here before 8. I'm going to try to get things set up. This morning, I came into the building. Student was wondering in the hall, where is room 157? Well, the numbering in this building is crazy, so I took her and got her to her classroom. Okay. Then I came upstairs and saw a couple of instructors, talked with them just a little bit, just minor things. Then came out of my office and stopped in the hall by one of those instructors and said, "Oh, I have a student, her math class has been canceled, and blah, 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 you know, her advisor's not here." I said, "Oh, yes, he is. He's right over there," you know. But I had to stop and, you know, get with him and with her and make sure. So I'd have been up here sooner. I was still up here before 8, but the system wasn't set up. So I'm going to try to be here on time. You try to be here on time as well. Now, if you can't be here, if you do have to miss, if you have to leave early, again, I record everything we do. It'll be there on YouTube, in Blackboard, in the, whatever you call it, playlist, but it's not as good as being here. You can't ask YouTube a question, or you can, but they aren't going to answer. Okay. Now, discrimination and harassment, and again, they say we're not supposed to talk about the Alabama Board of Education, but they haven't told, they say we can't change this, so it's here. Let me just summarize this. Let me preface it. I have been here now, I think this is my 21st year, teaching in this building, mostly in this classroom, but I've taught in other classrooms as well. Now, when I first started, it was Boston State Technical College, but for the last 15 years, it's been Boston State Community College. And so far, I have seen almost no example of any of this. Thank goodness. And here's why. Any practice or behavior that constitutes harassment and violation of state board policy and will not be tolerated. And if that wasn't good enough, harassment of any nature is never tolerated. Now, the closest thing I can remember hearing about, I didn't actually see this. This is back when we were Boston State Tech. We had then, and we have now, a great automotive program. And a lot of those, sorry guys, but young guys in that program, there are some females in it, and they're usually pretty serious students. And a lot of the guys are pretty serious students. But occasionally we get some that are not very mature. Not just that program, but those guys are mostly right out of high school. Occasionally that'll be not very mature. We had one guy like this, and he was actually in my math class. I was teaching automotive math then. And one day, I heard about it later. At lunch, he just decided to get up and walk across the cars in the parking lot. And he was seen, he was caught. He wasn't really discriminating or harassing, it was just stupid, you know. But they grabbed him, took him to the dean's office. I don't know how long he was in there, not very long. He was off campus in very short order, and as far as I know, never been seen again on this campus. I mean, that kind of stupid behavior. And I count bullying and, you know, that kind of stuff exactly the same way. It's not tolerated. Now, we give you a full hearing and all that kind of stuff, but actually what I really want to hear, I want to hear from you. Because guess what? Most of the time people aren't going to do this kind of stuff in front of me. I'm too big, mean, and ugly looking, you know, to do that. So they're going to do it where I don't see it. So if you see or even sense that anyone is being bullied, harassed, or discriminated against, please let us know. We are going to be very fair about it, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. And if something needs to be done, we're going to do it. We're going to try to keep it positive. If, like that kid, he was just too young and immature to be here. He wasn't doing well in his classes anyway, but we try to do whatever it takes to make sure y'all feel safe. Everyone feels safe. So please let us know if you see or sense anything. Even if it's against us. If you think we're being discriminatory, go to my boss, okay? We want to deal with it. We want to deal with it fairly but seriously, okay? Now, Americans with Disabilities. You'll see this on every syllabus as well. Okay? All right. And I'm not going to do too much here. But here's all the law and student responsibility. This is stuff that we're not allowed to change. They just brought it in. In fact, they got the font off a little bit. I can't figure out any way to get it better. But anyway, here's all the information about that. On this campus, now, let me preface this too. As I've already told you, I'm hard of hearing. So I'm a little sensitive about disabilities, okay? I know what it's like not to be able to hear what people are saying. Sometimes in faculty meetings, it's not that bad. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. Okay, but in class, you really do need to hear. So if you do have any type of disability, whether it's vision, hearing, AD, whatever all those letters are, dyslexia, any of that stuff, please let somebody know. You don't need to tell me even. We have people on both campuses, professionals, okay? On this campus, Dr. Renee Herndon, who is in charge of the whole counseling center, Office of Disability Services. She's in charge of it. There's her phone number on this campus. And then on the Birmingham campus, Ms. Janine McCoy Jones, and there's her number on the Birmingham campus. Or you can visit them. Please let them know, bring in the documentation. You've got to have that. They'll tell you everything you need to do, and then go. The ADA office locations on this campus, in this building, first floor, Student Services Wing, that's that new part over there. Yes? I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I record everything. So just listen to YouTube to pick up anything you might miss. Okay? And understand that. Sorry. Okay. Good luck. Don't drive too fast. Okay. They will ticket. Okay. And you can go to the Lawson Tate web site and you can find the request a meeting online. You can do all sorts of things there. On the Bessemer campus, this building, first floor down on the Student Services Wing, that's that new part over there that looks real nice. Okay. That big curved desk when you first come in, the Student Services entrance there, and you go into that desk. Don't come to the right, which is coming up this way. Go to the left of that desk. Back. Don't go toward the cafeteria, but toward that way, but keep going down the hall. Where testing is, that's where Dr. Herndon's office is. First floor Student Services Wing. You can go to the information desk and ask, and they will either take or call her, and she'll come meet you. Right there. She's very, very close. Birmingham campus in the Leon Kennedy building on the second floor. That's where the cafeteria is, the police department's up there on the first floor. Second floor is where lots of things are. You can go to the Space Center there and see the ADA counselor. Ms. Joy Jones, I think, is located in the Space Center. Okay. I think that was the bottom of that page, but let me make sure. Yeah. All right, here is approximately the college calendar. Now, this comes straight off the academic calendar off the website. Okay, I left off a few things, but the major things. Classes begin today. Next Monday, no classes. Martin Luther King Day. Now, I have a real big gripe by who puts together these calendars. I've said it over and over again, do not ever start a term, any term, on either a Tuesday or a Thursday. Because guess what? This week, we'll meet twice. Monday, Wednesday classes will meet once. Next week, we meet twice. Monday, Wednesday classes meet once. So 2 weeks into the term, Monday, Wednesday classes are 1 week behind Tuesday, Thursday classes. And there's no way ever to catch that up. Ever. Okay? So always, I think we should be starting classes on either Monday or Wednesday, never on a Tuesday or Thursday. Okay? So that's my gripe. They don't listen. And especially don't start classes after the national championship game. Go win overtime, but no, y'all weren't watching that, were you? All right, I saw a few yawns back there. Never mind. Okay, so next Monday, Martin Luther King Day. Drop ad ends next Tuesday, the day after Martin Luther King Day. Last day to withdraw and receive a partial refund. Now that's a total withdrawal for the term, not just one course. That's coming up at the end of January. Midterm progress reports are right at midterm. 60% completion date is a week or so after that. Spring break then is the last week in March. Honors and Awards Day is not a free day. It may be that we will cancel class that day. It depends on what time they run it, but we'll let you know. It's not a day off. It's just that the class is near that time, which is maybe one of them. We may not have class that day. Okay, last day to withdraw is listed here in April. Last day of class is later that week. Final exams are then. Our final is on the first Tuesday of that, so that's going to be the 1st of April. And then the 8th of April is when the grades will be due, and then commencement exercises. Any of you graduating this term? Oh, congratulations. Way to go. Be sure you do your application for graduation, because if you don't have that in, you're not graduating. You may think you are, but you're not. It'll be probably summer, but please get that in. Okay. Yeah, here is approximately the course schedule. This is about what we're going to do, and yuck, I hate this. Okay. And again, approximate is the big word here. Okay. Today we're doing the syllabus. We're not going to get much more. Next time we'll talk about research paper and safety. Sorry, I didn't mean to take this long, but the system was very slow. But this is approximately how we're going to try to go. Am I going to stay on this schedule? Probably not. Because here's my theory of math. If you don't learn the basics well, you're not going to be able to go to the next step. So rather than rush through this and you not understand anything about how to get to here, that's going to be defeating. Okay? So if we need extra time in the basics here, we're going to take it. Okay? And like I said already, next Tuesday the 16th, I've got a doctor's appointment. So let's talk about that now. Let's talk about it. Tuesdays and Thursdays I have almost no time. 10:45 to 12:30, I could squeeze in a class if that's the only time you can do it, because 11 to 12:15 we can do a class in there. Okay? So if you want to do it then, we can do that. Okay? Monday, Wednesday right now, big block of time, either 8 o'clock to 9:15, Monday or Wednesday, or anytime after 11 o'clock till 5:15. I can do it anytime then. And I can come to this campus and do it on a Friday if you want. When would you like to make up the class? You don't all have to be here, but I'd like to have somebody here because I'll be recording everything. You can listen to it. What would be the best time? Monday, Wednesday morning at 8. Monday, Wednesday after 11. No, let's say after 12, before 5:15. Tuesday, Thursday, 11. Or Friday, anytime in the morning on Friday. Anyone, any of those days, times work for anybody? Yes, what? Monday, Wednesday, 8 o'clock or later? 11? Well, let's say 12. Okay, would that be okay? So class Monday, Wednesday goes to 11:10. So 11:30 or 12. But 12 would be a decent time. Want to go with that? Monday, or like tomorrow, Wednesday? You want to do it? Or would you rather wait till next Monday? Oh, next Monday's a holiday. So next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. So not tomorrow, but next Wednesday. 12 o'clock or 11:30? 12 o'clock. Okay.
12 to 1, 15.
12 to 1:15. That's correct. Even if I pick up that developmental class, that'll be 2 o'clock, so I have plenty of time. So next Wednesday, we'll talk about it Thursday, we'll talk about it again Tuesday. But next Wednesday, 12 to 1:15, we will make up the class that we're missing because on the previous Tuesday. Okay? Good deal. What's that? 12 to 1:15. Okay? So next time, so this is approximate. The last thing here is just the acknowledgement that you read the syllabus. It's out there on Blackboard. If you have any questions, ask me. Once you've dealt with that, you can print this off or email it to me. Yeah, question. Great question on WebAssign. If you want it, I can set it up for you. It's a great tool. I'm not going to make assignments on it.
That's why I did if I was going to do that.
No, you don't.
So we can rent the book for this class, right?
Yes, you can. Because you don't need the web. What's that? You got what? You do? Okay. Well, it'll be on YouTube. I'll record it. Okay. Oh, you do? Congratulations.
So I
Barn?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's why I record it. But just sort of let me know as much as you can ahead and behind, and I'll work with you as much as we can.
Don't give you my paper so you can go.
Okay. What position?
Catcher.
What position?
Catcher.
Catcher. All right. Good. Tough position. Yeah, someone told me.
Yes, sir.
The best catcher on the team is probably going to be in my class. All right. Let's see. Okay.
But they say, what you call college, Miss Miss James?
Yes, that's who it was.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna give you my schedule Thursday to come to class.
Yeah, last term I had a assistant to Pittsburgh. This year, last year,
I'm a freshman, so
oh, you're a freshman with them, and about a year before that, I had another second major. So you got to watch them live up to their great students.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, sir. I know the coach wants you to be great students.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. 157. You see the room right next to us here? That's 257. You go down flight of stairs, and you have to come. You go down half a flight, go down a full flight, and then come back up half a flight. It's directly underneath that.
You excited about seeing your old class?
What's that?
Your old students?
Yeah, you excited about seeing us. Hey.
All right.
Mr. Howard. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, wait just a second.
So we did the paper, it's just gonna be the same, like 5 pages. What's 5 pages?
No, it was a baby.
It was just a page?
Yeah, what you got?
How much do we have to write on paper? Is it just a page?
1 to 2 pages.
1 to 2 pages?
Yeah.
Okay. So
You were here last
I
time.
was,
weren't
but I
you?
feel like it was like 5 pages.
Well, you probably wrote, if I remember right, it's a really good paper. But you wrote it longer than you had to do. 1 to 2 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next time.
Okay. Because I was trying to go ahead and do mine.
Excellent, excellent. You know you want those extra bonus points, don't
You
you?
tried to do it early.
Okay, and that's the smart way to go, folks.